Thanks for the support as a channel member, Marius Hegley. Well, after starting the season so brightly, I think the momentum and the promotion buzz has worn off because we've just been in some really properly miserable form. But we now have a game against Premier League opposition in the FA Cup third round. Hello and welcome to part 68 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we face Coventry in League One and then Southampton at home, which is a bit of a shame because it would have been nice to play them away from home. But we face them in the FA Cup third round in the hopes of bringing a little bit of money into the club, because money is definitely something that would be rather handy at the moment, because in addition to being in a miserable run of form, which I'll show you in a second, the board have this morning announced this. The £89,000 a week that we were spending has now been slashed to £68,000 a week of wage budget. So it now looks like I'm an idiot who can't get... I was within my wage budget before, and now I'm way over it. And they've got the cheek to say I'm struggling to work within my wage budget that you changed halfway through the season. January is going to be an interesting one. We had only just a couple of weeks before turned down a £700,000 offer for Querol, that I now think we're probably going to have to sell him in January, even though he's been the one bright point, really, because he's an assist machine and I like it. But he's 26 years old. He's still worth £1 million. He could go a long way to clearing some of our debt and also freeing up some wage budget as well, because he's on nearly £5,000 a week. So as much as I like him, Querol might be on his way out. And if he does go, I expect this form to get even worse. The wheels are coming off a little bit at Bourne at the moment. Terrible run of form. That was a real low point, losing 5-0 against Bristol Rovers. And we've got to find a way to turn this around. Remember, though, we are only supposed to finish mid-table and we are still sat in a playoff spot. So it's not a disaster. The disaster is the run of form and the financial situation that we've got ourselves into by basically rolling the dice at the start of this season, signing some players who had the potential to push us on to the next level, and then it not quite coming off. Really, we were gambling with the likes of Ralston and Kitching and Pavlov and Querol and all these highly paid players. We were gambling on promotion this year because those kind of salaries weren't sustainable in this league, as you can see by the fact that's been lowered. And now we have to take another gamble of, do we do a fire sale in January to protect the club because of this? Or do we roll the dice and gamble on getting our form sorted out and getting a promotion, because promotion to the Championship will all of a sudden mean we can afford those players? I'm not sure how much of a gambling man I am today. We'll see how we'll judge it based on how we get on against Coventry in this game, who are one of the best teams in the division. So we're going with Hardy in goal, a back four of Washbourne. Yeah, Washbourne at left back. Not ideal, but we have problems. Both Barnes and Mark Sheffel injured. So Kitching and Washbourne are the only two who can really play there. So it was a case of one at left back, one at centre back, and Kitching's our best centre back, so he can stay there. So Washbourne at left back, Kitching, Catamol and Ralston, Dean and Clark in midfield, and then Querol, Palmer and Murray supporting Pavlov up front. Yes, I'm still playing Pavlov, partly at this point because I'm just hoping that if we play him enough, someone will give me money for him and take him away, because he's a gamble that hasn't really worked. And I know a lot of it comes down to he'll get better when he can speak English. I understand that, but we're not really in a position to wait anymore. But at the same time, can't really justify dropping him because it makes me look like a crazy person. It's one of the hard times we're having. It's a hard time. So let's aggressively say we need an improved performance to put an end to our run of bad form. That has motivated everybody. You never know. This might be the turning point. Coventry were up there with Charlton at one point, really pushing for automatic promotion. So the fact that they're not a million miles ahead of us suggests they've had a little bit of a rough run of form as well. So it might be an opportunity for us here today. But I would say our confidence is so shot that it's a little bit of wishful thinking, expecting us to be able to beat one of the better teams in the division, whatever kind of form they're in, when you look at the form that we're in and the fact we're playing a makeshift defence and we've got a striker who doesn't score goals and a winger who's probably on his way out and, yeah, a team that was really good in League Two, but some of the expensive new players haven't quite given the level of improvement you would expect for the amount of money that they cost. Lovely clearance from Catamol then. We've got the chance for a break, but as you would expect with morale the way it is, we were never going to be first to any 50-50 ball, and it was shown there. And now it's Coventry with the attack again. Trying to get something moving on the edge of our area. Querrell's in there with a tackle, though. I really like him, and I don't want to have to sell him, but I think he's our only real saleable asset, which is a shame. But there's interest in him. There's offers out there, and he has value. So if anyone's got an idea for how we can solve this pickle without selling Querrell, I'm all ears. But I think he'll just be a player that we only had for half a season. You only saw him for 3 or 4 episodes, but it was long enough for us to fall in love with him. And, yeah, he might not go yet. He might be here for the next 5 years. And we'll look back on this and laugh about how we nearly sold him. But I'm suggesting that's probably quite unlikely. What I need is some team back in Bosnia to remember how good Pavlov is internationally and how good he was domestically there, and just give me £500,000 for him and pay all his wages. That would be a big help. I don't need a big fee for him. Just take his £8,500 a week wages. Right, assertively, to keep working hard and we'll win. A draw would be nice to just sort of stem the flow of... I don't even know where that sentence ends. To just kind of... We're losing consecutive games. A draw at least stops that for the time being and gives us an opportunity to just gather our thoughts and breathe for a minute and figure out what to do. I don't like being in free fall. It makes me panic. But knowing we've got a game against Premier League opposition coming up in the next match as well, that's got the potential to, if we lose here, it'll be like 5 or 6 defeats in a row, and that's real problem form then. And I think we were always going behind in this game because we haven't looked like scoring. As much as Coventry haven't exactly been sensational, even when we've had the ball, we've not really looked like creating any decent chances. And I think we have to take off Pavlov. We'll take Pavlov off after this move if he doesn't score. So we've got Scargill on the bench. So Scargill scores more goals than Pavlov. And I guess we just have to think in terms of goals rather than money for a little while. Even though the money is a huge pressing issue. Right, Scargill comes on with half an hour left to try and get something out of the game. But even though he's got more goals than Pavlov, it's not like he's prolific. So... even that isn't necessarily a solution to the problem. Give me some money. We need a rich takeover now. Samik Powell is still doing the best he can, but for a club our size to push beyond this level, we need a rich owner. And Samik Powell, it's nice that he writes his little cheque to underwrite our debts every summer, but it seems by the lowering of the wage bill that maybe those cheques have run out. His chequebook is empty, and we need to either accept a League Two club, or we need someone to come in and start the money flowing again so that we can continue to take risks on our own future. Because it's the only way to get up. We don't want to do it slow and sensibly. We want to take risks and get there quickly. They're in again here, and that's a good save from Hardy. And with 20 minutes to go, let's have a little look at what we can do to try and get a breakthrough. Berry can come on that side. We're going to push to a attacking mentality, and we are going to tell Berry to attack. Oh, actually, he doesn't want to attack. Does Palmer want to attack? Not really. Well, we won't change anyway. Well, why have we got Washbourne on attack? What am I thinking here? What on earth am I thinking? Not automatic. Attack. Let's get Ralston doing the attacking. Washbourne probably shouldn't even be playing as a wing-back. He should be on a no-nonsense full-back on a defend instruction, just because he's playing out of position and we don't want him to make mistakes. I've got him on an instruction as if he's still Barnes. They're the kind of slip-ups we can't get away with. Demand more. Come on, lads. A goal here would be awesome. Scargill with the corner. Palmer can't quite get there again. 50-50 balls. We're not the first to them. We've got 800 Bourne fans in Abbey Lawn today, which is... there are positive signs of growth, but... Not for a League One club to be having less than 1,000 fans. That's why we can't afford to compete, because we haven't got the fan. The only way is we find another 15,000 fans, or we find someone rich to give us 15,000 fans worth of ticket money as investment every year. I don't know what's going on. I think the bin men are here. They know there's trouble afoot and they want to help out. Right, we're going to bring... Can Quirrell players... No, he can't. We'll bring Goldie on them. Goldie's always good for a goal. He's been injured for a little while, so it would be nice for him to come back into the team doing what he was doing before and scoring important goals. At the start of the season, he was arguably our main attacking threat, and of course the blow of losing Quirrell would be eased by the fact that Goldie is now fit again. Scargill's in, and he needs to do better there. That was a massive chance. That was the chance of the game for either team. And it was just really not taken. Ralston on the edge of the area shoots. Goldie on his offside. Oh, we are getting close to a breakthrough. We need this game to go on for another 15, 20 minutes, because I think we're getting better. Goldie's well offside there, though. Right, get creative for the last couple of minutes. I've inspired them, but inspiration doesn't get points on the board, and another defeat here, and it adds to the statistic, and it doesn't matter how well we've played. It's all about the momentum that we continue to lose if we continue to lose. Ralston with the cross. Goldie's there again, and it's just wide. And I think that's probably the final attack of the game. And we've shown some decent spirit in this second half. We've not given up, but what we have shown is we maybe aren't good enough. I'm glad we got so many points on the board early on. We're not going to be under threat of relegation this year, but I think we probably right now need to abandon any plans of promotion, make the financial decisions accordingly based on that, and sell a few players, get the wage budget under control, consider this a season of doing that, and then figure out how to rebuild next year. Big, deep free kick, and it falls to Clark again. Really, he needs to hit that first time while the keeper's still out of position. And, we did our best, but wasn't good enough, so I want to say I'm not happy, and they're happy with me being unhappy. Let's go and take our medicine against Southampton. This is going to be brutal. Well, the fire sale has begun, instigated by Sir Mick Powell. I didn't get a say in this. Chris Sadler's gone to Bristol Rovers for 130,000. I guess it's fairly good business. He wasn't playing for us. He only scored 5 goals in his entire career with us. We signed him for free. We've sold him on. He wouldn't be the striker I'd have moved on, because he was only on £2,000 a week and the other two were on like 15 between them. But yeah, I'm not going to argue with it. What it does mean is that comes down a little bit. We get a little bit of wage budget, which we can transfer budget, which we can then pump straight back into wages again and start to lower that gap. We've also had an offer for one of our youngsters that we signed in the summer. Came in from West Ham, has potential, not good enough to be in the team yet on that left-hand side, although potentially would be if Quirrell went. But we've had an offer come in for him. It was initially a £50,000 offer. I've pushed it up to 100,000 with add-ons, and Ipswich are going for it. So that's another similar sort of money. And so that's £250,000 in if we sell both of them, which is moves in the right direction. Right, Southampton game then. I don't see the point in bringing Scargill in for Pavlov. We saw that miss from him in the last game. So it seems they're as bad as each other at the moment with the form that they're in. So we may as well play the one who is earning the most money. Terry Broadbent does come back in midfield, though, to play alongside Dean. Mark Sheffield, fit enough to start at least, but not to finish the game. But Barnes is also fit enough to play a half of football. So we just have to remember to bring Barnes on for Mark Sheffield later on in the game. It means we can drop Washbourne back down to the bench. Was it Washbourne? Was that the one? I can never remember who my players are. Their names baffle me. It is... There he is, Washbourne. I knew he was called Washbourne. And Dodd comes in for Ralston at right back as well. Dodd might be better. Ralston's on £8,500 though. It's like the opposite logic to what I've done up front. Don't question it. There isn't much logic at the moment. I'm kind of picking combinations of players and hoping that we stumble across the right one. And against Southampton, we're going to get battered today. We're huge underdogs. It doesn't really matter which 11 players we put out against this lot because they're going to beat us. I guess the only thing that matters is how badly they beat us. Dodd plays it into Pavlov. Pavlov's in, and if he'd have scored there, I think I'd just give up can't score for fun in the league, but grabs a goal against Premier League opposition. I mean, remember, this is a guy who scored his first international goal was against Belgium. So it's not as if he's got his 4 international goals against nothing teams. He has been a consistent goal scorer throughout his career. He is still young. If we're going to gamble on one of these strikers, I'm talking about gambling a lot today. I guarantee this video gets demonetized. Got to stop saying that word. But if we are going to take a risk on one of our players, Pavlov is the logical one to go for. He's got international experience. He's young. He's got loads of potential. He's got a proven goal-scoring record in a league that must be roughly... I mean, I don't know the Bosnian league, but it can't be that much worse than League One, surely. It's got to just be a case of he needs to settle in, and then he's going to be great. So by playing him more and mixing him in with the players more, in my head, that helps him settle in. I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if he just needs to do well at his English homework or what. But I have a feeling he's going to be a hero. But I do get these feelings sometimes. And eventually I give up on them. We've done really well in that first half. It's 0-0. Just continue underdogging. There's nothing to lose today. Go out there, give it your best shot. Exactly. Maybe playing with no pressure is what these guys needed. Mark Sheffield is now injured. I mean, it was a risk playing him, and it's a risk that's now gone wrong. Barnes can only play a half as well, so he's now having to come on earlier than he would have done. I'm going to re-injure both of my left-backs in one game, aren't I, by forcing them back too soon in a game that ultimately didn't matter because we weren't going to win it. But the longer it goes on, the more I'm now thinking in terms of, if we can get a draw, we can go back to their place, and that's in an away game against Premier League opposition. That's money. That's helpful. We've had an absolute sellout here at Abbey Lawn today, and in fact, only 450 fans are away fans. This is nearly 4,000 Bourne fans here cheering us on. This is unheard of, having this many Bourne fans in. The terraces are heaving because they're allowed to be open because it's not a league game. This is Abbey Lawn how it's supposed to be. This is why we need a new stadium, because we're actually a home team for the first time in a long time. And look at the difference it's making to our performance. The lads actually care. This is what we need. We need the ground. And what we need is to maintain this 0-0 now, because we really want this replay, because a replay is going to be magnificent for us. Right, we're going to bring... Who's Kyle O'Brien? Why don't I remember you, Kyle O'Brien? I probably should. You look quite good. There you go. You can play. You can come on there, play on the right-hand side. And now we're gonna ask for some creativity. Imagine if we managed to pull this off. They're going to score a late goal and really kick us in the nuts, aren't they? But imagine if we got the late goal and used this as the turning point of our season. Scargill comes on for Pavlov with 10 minutes to go. I'm not going to say show some passion, because I think we've been fantastic. We're going to get creative again. This has been a real... This is motivating me. This is bringing me back. It's bringing me back from the brink, because we're holding a Premier League team to a 0-0 draw here, and we're not doing it by parking the bus. We're playing our way. Yes, we're still rubbish in front of goal, but we're doing all right. And Scargill's in here. Imagine. I believed for a second there, and there's still another couple of minutes to go. There's the opportunity for another chance. It doesn't look like it's coming. We have the replay, and this is going to make a massive financial difference. And that's a big boost motivationally as well. So just that game, I don't know how much money that's made us. Goalless Scargill, I mean, they're both in goal droughts. It's hideous. And we've just sold our other striker. But it's not made us a huge amount of money because there's only 4,000 people here. But fingers crossed for the replay, we make a bit more. And that is going to be tomorrow's video. Because I guess this January is probably the most interesting point of the season. If we're now assuming we're not going up, the potential for cup heroics and sorting the finances out, it doesn't hurt to have a couple of January episodes, I don't think. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.